Finally.
He might, maybe. But
He
all
will.
right. So let's take a look at this. Houston and Indianapolis. Now, that fucked everything up.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. That was
Literally every week.
in terms of like just AFC standings or who you root for. I mean, that threw a big wrench in the system because them beating the Colts put Jacksonville in at the number 1 spot for the AFC South.
Are you serious?
So Jacksonville is currently sitting at
Oh my
8-4,
God.
which bumps the Colts into the wild card, into the wild card spot at number 6,
And
and
it
Houston
keeps the
right outside.
Texans.
Yeah, at 8 keeps the Texans in. So as of right now, it's Jacksonville 8-4, Baltimore 6-6, the Chargers 8-4, Indianapolis 8-4, Buffalo 8-4, and then it's Houston at the 8th spot 7-5, and then you got Pittsburgh 6-6, and you got Kansas City 6-6.
Like the
We have
Texans are supposed to be 6-6.
the Texans supposed to be 6-6. When you look at it, this is why I said I have no clue who is making what, because at this point,
And
I said this, I said only one team from the North is making it.
yeah, and the fact that there could be 3 from the South is mind-boggling. But also, we've seen the Texans collapse. Yes, we've seen the Texans collapse, but we've seen the Jags collapse just about every year when it comes to late season playoff hopes. So hopefully, there's not 3 teams from the South going, but the way it looks right now, yeah, 1 team from the North.
Okay, so then let's look at it then. So Jacksonville, okay, for instance, you say they fold. They play the Colts twice. Do they split or lose both?
Split.
Okay, so they split. Okay, and then they play the Jets. That should be a win. They play Denver.
L.
I was about to say I don't know if they beat Denver. And then they have Tennessee. So sure, they beat Tennessee, and then the Colts once. That gives them 10 wins. That'd put them at 10-7. And then you look at Indianapolis. Okay, so if they split with Jacksonville, They got Seattle and San Fran. Are they beaten? They beaten Seattle and San Fran?
No.
That's
I mean, we
that's a
can call that a
toss up.
split too.
Okay, split it however way you want it. Say they lose to Seattle, and then you got Houston. They just lost to Houston. They're gonna play Houston at the end of the year. Do they lose to Houston twice?
I don't know. I mean, that game's going to be for the marbles.
Okay, so all right, let's say they clutch it out and they beat Houston. So okay, that's 3 more wins. So then they're sitting at 11-6. They're sitting at 11-6. Buffalo, they're sitting at 8-4. I think they got Cincinnati, that's a win. They got Cleveland, that's a win. They got the Jets, that's a win. And then they have New England, who they lost to earlier this year. Do they lose to New England again? I can't say they lose to New England again.
No.
I got to give them the win. And they have Philly. Does Buffalo beat Philly?
Probably. If these
Buffalo
two
got
teams stacked up right now, yes.
But okay, so then Buffalo's winning out.
I mean, they're supposed to win every game.
So then Buffalo's going to be 13-4.
That's a shot at the still have a shot at the East.
Yeah,
Probably
absolutely a
not.
shot at the East. And if you look at the Chargers, they got Philly, they got Kansas City, they got Denver again. I think they struggle in all 3 of those. Maybe do they beat Kansas City? They already beat Kansas City once.
No.
Do they beat Kansas City again?
No.
No? Okay, so do they beat Philly? I don't think they beat Philly.
Probably not.
I don't think
I
they
can see
beat
the
Philly.
Chargers missing the playoffs.
I think they can beat Dallas. I don't think they beat Denver at the end of the year if they're playing for something.
No, fuck no.
And then they got Houston, so maybe they beat Houston. And that puts them at 10-7. So you're looking at 2 10-7s right there. You got Houston. They got Kansas City. All right, well, let's look. They could beat Arizona. They can beat Vegas. And then we said that they would lose to the Chargers. We said that they would lose to Indianapolis. And then Houston has Kansas City next week. I don't think Houston beats Kansas City. As much as it's
No.
like so obvious that Kansas City's fallen off, I really don't think they beat Kansas City.
Well, Kansas
So then they
City
would
is
finish.
they got to go on a tear.
Houston would finish 9-8 with that record. And then unfortunately, you got Baltimore. They play Pittsburgh twice. They play Cincinnati again. They got New England and they got Green Bay. So they're gonna have to figure something
Y'all
out.
got one loss left.
We got probably, and I would say we either got to beat Pittsburgh twice, get our revenge against Cincy, and let one of those losses be to New England or Green Bay, or
Yeah.
split with Pittsburgh. I think that's the only thing that we can do. But the question is, what are they going to do? It's not what they can do. It's what are
What
they
are
going to
they
do with
going?
Pittsburgh?
Because what they could have
Do they?
done was gone from 1-5 to 12-5. Instead,
They could have,
they lost.
and they could jump to 11-6. But here's the thing: I think they get their get back against Cincinnati. If they lose to Cincinnati twice, then they deserve to miss the fucking playoffs. The problem is, like, they should not lose to 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. They just
No
shouldn't.
one should at this point. I mean, that team is really, really bad. Aaron Rodgers was what, 10 for 30 or something? 10 for 20 something? Not great.
So at best 10-7. At best 10-7.
Yeah,
And
I
I
agree.
think that might be a struggle. And then Pittsburgh, they beat Miami, they beat Cleveland, they got Detroit. Don't think they win that one. So right there off the bat, they're looking at about a 9-8
9-8.
record.
Oh, weird.
If they
Weird.
beat
That's weird.
Miami, whoa, hold on, whoa. No. They're 6-6. If they lose to Detroit, beat
Who's
Miami
six
and
and six?
Cleveland, Pittsburgh. If they don't beat Baltimore, they finish 8-9.
I thought they were 6 and
So
5. No,
they're
they lost this
finishing
week.
they're 6-6. So they're
Yeah.
finishing either 9-8 or 8-9. So I'll put nine and
Or
eight for them, and then Kansas
or
what?
you preserve with a tie.
I don't think they do shit with a damn tie. Kansas City, we say they beat Houston. They're beating Tennessee. They're beating Vegas. That's 9 wins there. And then they got the Chargers and they got Denver. And we said that they would beat the Chargers. They can't lose to them twice. So then they finish probably about 10-7. So I think Baltimore makes it because they win. They win the North. I think Baltimore makes it because they win the North. Buffalo's obviously, yes, cash them in. Buffalo's going to be in whether they win the East or not. So they're going to be in there with New England. If we have Indianapolis at 11-6, boom, they win the South. And then 10-7, 10-7. But then Broncos are sitting there at 10-2. I don't think the Broncos are going to lose the next 5 games. They have Denver coming. They have Vegas coming up. So Denver probably wins the West. And then what? That leaves 1 spot? 2 spots? Baltimore wins the North. New England wins the East, or Buffalo. So then Buffalo in the wild card spot. Denver wins the East or the West. Indianapolis wins the South. And then, like I said, you got Buffalo and wild card. And then the 2 spots left. If we went based off this, I mean, so Jacksonville's 10-7, Chargers are 10-7, and Kansas City's 10-7. I don't know what the split would
I don't
be
know the
as of right
tiebreakers.
now. Yeah, so I can't do the split right now. So I guess I don't know. It's gonna be a toss up between. It's either gonna be. I'll put it to you like this. It's either gonna be 2 teams from the. It's gonna be 3 teams from the West, or it's gonna be 2 West, 2 East, 2 South, 1
To
North.
South. Yeah.
2 South, 1 North, which is crazy. Usually it's
Which
like
is
3
flip
North.
flopped.
Yeah, that's a crazy flip flop, but I think that's close to what I think it's gonna look like there. So
Nuts.
I would say right now, I'll call it. I'll say Houston, no. Pittsburgh, no. and that's my for sure's. That's my guarantees.
Cool.
If it flips on our heads and Pittsburgh stomps on Baltimore next week, all right, flip it. Pittsburgh, yes. Baltimore, no. Take them the fuck out. Take them out. And then these other games, Devin. I mean,